And the San Fernando Valley is part of the north part of the city of Los Angeles. The city of Los Angeles, guys, is pretty big. It's over 503 square miles. That's the city of LA. The county of LA is over 4,000 square miles, so we're pretty big here. City of LA has 4 million people. The county of LA has 10 million people. Get out of the way, kid. So we're pretty big here. We're pretty big here in LA. Now the San Fernando Valley is a little bit different from being in Metro LA or being in Hollywood, because it's a little bit more quiet. It's a little bit more reserved. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have a share of celebrities, because it definitely does. It's got a good amount of celebrities in it. And the celebrities like having that little bit of a slower pace of life to it, and that's why they live in the valley. Now, there are some really, really upscale areas in the valley. I was in one of them last night. I went to a summer solstice labyrinth walk last night. That was a lot of fun. And that was in a community called Encino. So going into Encino, I got to go up Havenhurst, and Havenhurst is a road right off the 101 freeway, so I got to go past the Jackson family residence. So when Michael Jackson and the family moved out here in the 70s, they bought this really nice compound off of Havenhurst, and a lot of the family members actually still live at this big compound right there in Encino. So I got to drive past that last night. I'm driving down the street going, okay, where's that gate with the arch on it? Where's that gate with the arch on it? Still there. And there's another community down here on the right-hand side. That one is called Studio City, and Studio City is home to people like Sally Field. I know she's old, but she lives down there. Alex Trebek from Jeopardy, Chris Donnelly from NCIS Los Angeles lives down there, and there's a whole bunch of our television character actors who live, people who go on like Criminal Minds or Law and Order SVU or other shows like that. This is where they live. And if you go out a little bit further west, there's a community called Calabasas, and Calabasas is where everybody's guilty pleasure, the Kardashians, live. So the Kardashians live out there. It's a gated community called Hidden Valley. Oh no, I'm sorry, Hidden Hills. It's called Hidden Hills, and in Hidden Hills we also have Will Smith and Jada Pinkett also live out there in Hidden Hills as well. So that's a little bit about the Valley. The Valley is also home to Burbank, and Burbank is where we find Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is a great tour to go on if you're still going to be here in LA for a while. And Burbank is also home to Disney Imagineering. That's where they do like the Toy Story movies and all that. And it's also home to Nickelodeon and all the voiceover work, where they do all the voiceover stuff for the movies like Toy Story 4. That's where they do all that stuff. We're coming up on Laurel Canyon. Laurel Canyon is one of our canyon roads that connects the north side of the hill. This is what we call the hill, the mountain right here. We call this the hill, the mountain range here. So it's going to connect the valley side of the hill to the city side of the hill. Laurel Canyon is a very interesting area because of all the nice music and all the cool music that came out of there. Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, the Mamas and the Papas, Sonny and Cher, Joni Mitchell, all came out of Laurel Canyon. Crosby, Stills, and Nash all came out of Laurel Canyon. So there's a really high musical influence down there. Going down there today, you're going to run into Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is all over in the San Fernando Valley and over in this part of Hollywood. So he really gets around a lot. And also we have Slash from Guns N' Roses, same thing. He gets around a lot. He's on this side of the hill, and he's on this side of the hill. So we get a lot of people who kind of travel around a lot. So down here is Studio City. There's a supermarket down there called Gelson's. It's an overpriced supermarket, but man, when you go in there, you are going to find more celebrities in a Gelson's supermarket than you will probably, because that's where they go shopping. That's where I ran into Sally Field, was in that Gelson's supermarket. So we're just going to keep going westbound here on Mulholland Drive. And up here on the left, we have the Laurel Canyon Park. And the Laurel Canyon Park is just basically, it's an off-leash dog park. And this is where all of our celebrities bring their animals. So there's a big old dirt pit down there, and that's where all the doggies get to go running around. This is where we find Paris Hilton with her animals. And Adele, when Adele lives in California, that's where she brings her animals as well. And coming up in here, we're going by a community called Laurel Hills, and Laurel Hills are all these houses up into the left-hand side up here. Pharrell Williams owns a house up here in Laurel Hills, as does a guy named Joaquin Phoenix. So we've got Pharrell and Joaquin up here in the Laurel Hills area. Let's see if I've got room. Yes, I do have room. Little bumpier in this bus. Okay, so take a look down the hill down there. You're going to see 3 houses. There's a house down there with a swimming pool. Okay, do you see that house down there with the swimming pool? I have no idea who lives there. The house next to it with the red roof, that's Bruno Mars. There we go. I had Pharrell in my mind. Bruno Mars lives in that house with the red roof.
How do you go there?
There's a road that goes down there. It's a gated community, and there is, I can't find the exact road, but there are roads that go down there. This is a very secluded area down here. And then the house next to that, the White House down there, that's Leah Remini. Now, Leah Remini, if you're not familiar with her name, Leah Remini is from The King of Queens. And then she is also on a show where she's documenting her departure from the Church of Scientology. So that is who lives in those houses. Now, Bruno Mars had a house up here on Mulholland Drive. He was back there by Mulholland and Laurel Canyon. But what happened with him is that he had girls who kept jumping his fence because they found out where he lived. So they kept jumping his fence. So what he ended up doing was putting spikes on his fence to kind of prevent these girls from jumping the fence. But they kept doing it anyway. They kept jumping his fence anyway, even though he had spikes on it. So he ended up moving into this house down below so he could get a little bit more privacy. So that area, even though it's kind of off the beaten path of Studio City, that area is still considered Studio City. And then we're coming around a corner. You see these houses over here to the right. That is called the Summit. And the Summit is home to Gwen Stefani, Britney Spears, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Robert De Niro. And I'm going to show you a couple of these houses off here to the right. Alright, so the White House, the very last house on the left, the White House with the brown wall, that is Gwen Stefani's house. So Gwen has been there for 13 years, and when she moved into the house, she moved in with her husband, Gavin Rossdale, and that is where that's where they had their kids. So they were still married when they got in there. When I was thinking of marriage, I was thinking J-Lo and Mark Anthony, because when she bought the house, when Gwen bought the house, she bought it from Jennifer Lopez and Mark Anthony, and that's where they got married. They got married in the backyard of the house. when they got married. 2 houses down, you're going to see that rust-colored roof that's kind of standing out a bit. That's Britney Spears' house. Now, granted, Britney hasn't been there in a while because she's having problems with mental health again. So she has not been at the house, but that is property that she actually still owns. Now, Robert De Niro and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar own property on Summit Circle Drive, but we don't have access to their house, so I can't tell you exactly where they're at. But they are in there somewhere. So when Mark Anthony and J-Lo got married, they got married in the backyard of the house. And what happened is that they wanted a nice private level ceremony because, it's a gated community, so they had control over who was going to be able to enter into their backyard. But what happened is that the paparazzi wanted pictures, so they lined the street so they could get their photographs. But one of the groups of photographers came into the canyon with a helicopter. And so they could get the best pictures that they could get in, and kind of put a little damper on their day. So they ended up selling the property to Gwen and Gavin, and they ended up moving into a really, really private area in the Bel Air area, and then selling it to Gwen and Gavin. Gwen's got the house on the market right now. When she initially put it on the market, her asking price was $35 million. She hasn't been able to get that, so she had to take the price down a little bit, so now it's on the market at $29 million, and she hasn't been able to find a buyer. So she's kind of stuck with it right now. But, so we're waiting to see if she's going to be able to get on out of there and find a buyer for that. But right now that hasn't happened. We're coming up on the gate of the summit, so I'm going to show you what that looks like. Now this is a traditional gated community. When you come into the property, you got to get past the security person. But our celebrities don't have any kind of a private entrance or anything. They have to go in just like everybody else. Go in through that resident side, wave at the security guy, and inside they go. One of my co-workers saw Gwen coming out here with her kids one time a few months ago, and I'm still waiting for that. I haven't seen her. So we're heading down Coldwater Canyon, and Coldwater Canyon is just another one of these canyon roads that connects one side of the hill to the other. And this is going to drop us off down into Beverly Hills. Now on the way down, we're going to go past another gated community. This one is called Beverly Ridge. And Beverly Ridge is where we find Adele's California home. We find Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman, and we find Penelope Cruz and Javier Bardem. And that's coming up here on the right-hand side. Beverly Ridge is right here.